Hello, Infinity Ward, and anybody else who watches the video. I'm just making this video to give a little bit of feedback, some honest feedback that I encountered whilst playing this game, and just some points of fun, some points I didn't like, maybe some points of potential improvements, and there's a couple of bugs in here as well, which I'll point out. First half of the beta, first week of the beta, weekend of the beta. First impressions, rough. Definitely rough. Obviously didn't start off great. The first 2 days of the beta were pretty hard to swallow. I did play with some friends, and playing with those friends kind of made it feel a little bit better, because we were obviously doing call-outs and stuff like that. It was a mixed group of people, some good, high-skilled people, some average people, some below-average people. It didn't matter, but it was fun, throughout the first few days playing with them. When I played on my own in solo, or solo drop-in, and I was playing with randos, not so much. So we'll move on to this topic in a minute. But so when we were playing solo drop-ins or randos, the time to kill, I think, is what really killed the game, or killed the beta at the time, because when you were getting dumped, and there wasn't really a great deal that you could do to get out of it. I'm going to show some bugs as well now that I came across. I'll explain why. So basically, as you can see there, like I said in the words, so this enemy killed me, and as you can see, he's got a green dot above his head. I don't put the players' names on. I'm also on PlayStation when this happened. It happened in multiple games, many times, and I've got another couple of clips to show. But basically, the enemies would show up as a green dot or a blue dot, so sometimes I wouldn't shoot, and then it turned out there were enemies. Now, I don't know, maybe I haven't read something and it's a perk. They put a perk on, it sort of like confuses you. But as far as I'm aware, there isn't a perk like that. And as you can see there, look, I can actually see a dot through the wall, and this is actually an enemy. But as you can see, it's a green dot and a blue dot, and I'll be honest, that blue dot is definitely an enemy, and you'll see why in a minute. So, as you can see, there's an enemy that was on the green dot. I killed him. The enemy at the side, the other dots at the side, they were not teammates. One of them was an enemy, because he killed my teammate. I kind of cut that bit out, my bad. So, again, like I said, the time to kill was super quick. There was also a lot of, this was early in the beta, there was a lot of this that you're about to see on my screen in multiple kills, and I don't know if it's because the time to kill was so quick, the net coding or whatever couldn't keep up. But I'm from Britain, UK, and like I said, I'm on PS5, and I played console-only lobbies. So I would expect that, kind of what... I played PlayStation-only lobby, at first. So I would expect, obviously, PlayStation and PlayStation, you'd kind of have a bit better sort of, like, judgment on this, on, both sides of people. But as you can see, I go around the corner, he comes around the corner, I see him jumping, he's not really looking at me. I jump, he starts firing. Now, his gun looks like it's not even looking at me. I start shooting him and I die, and then his gun looks at me as he jumps away, and I thought to myself, oh well, he's obviously, because of the quick time to kill, because this was early in the beta, he's obviously just hit me a few more times than what I've hit him. But when I actually see his point of view, which is a bit hard to see with the names on, but when I see his point of view, look, he's actually looking at me, and he's already landed and started shooting me, and I'm still jumping in the air. So then obviously he just turns and shoots, and obviously I'm dead, and it's just like, what is seen on my screen isn't what's seen on his, and I've got a really good internet connection. I've got Ethernet cable, direct plug-in, Nobody uses the internet system that I use or the router that I use. It's only solely for my PlayStation, and it just doesn't seem like it's enough internet or whatever. I don't know what that is. I did find that later on as the beta went on, I seen that less and less and less. But nonetheless, it was still there from time to time. And I don't know if it's like a time to kill thing. So, yeah, going to talk about this map now. Chate, I think, is maybe the name of this map. I'm sorry if I've got that wrong. Was a pretty decent map. It's all right. You know, I feel like you could do a little bit extra on this bit down here, and maybe in and around this area, maybe get rid of the containers, and maybe just put some boxes out, or some barrels, or you know, slightly smaller containers, so there's a bit of line of sight. So, like, for instance, if I'm looking down here, the only thing that you can do as a player is stand behind that truck and try and, like, jiggle peek to get the guy who stood at this window shooting, where this guy at the window has full line of sight on you, and he can just move to the side, or even move back if need be, and just head peek. There isn't really, like... not like a counter, but like if you come around that corner from the bus, he's just going to shoot you. There's nowhere to hide. So I think maybe putting a few boxes or containers instead of these big boxes, so that people can slide behind and get a bit of cover to return fire, would be pretty good. And again, you know, you kind of just like blocked all of the view off, but you can see the doorway where people can run out, but then you've blocked all of the view for the sort of opposite player by just putting a big fat container there, where if you put like a few boxes or even like a car, you could like, because they might not notice, get shot at and be like, oh, and duck behind, and then the player could like then as an opportunity to return fire. But again, I hate this door. This is like the death door. So when you go through that door, you can turn left or right. And people are obviously looking left or right, you know, like just to block just to block people off from running through. But you can't like dive forward. So say like you went through that door, and there was a guy like corner camping on the right hand side or the left hand side. You don't have that opportunity to like outplay them, because when you go through that door, the actual wall that you can see there is quite long. So you're not able to quickly like dodge to the left. If he's on the left, you can't dodge to the right and get behind something, and if he's on the right, you can't go to the left and get behind something. I think it would have been better, again, if you kind of had like maybe just some bare pillows in there, pillars in there, so that you could maybe like go forward and like slide. So if someone's camping on the corner, you can kind of like get away from them, because otherwise you just slide through and you just get killed. And especially when people were just waiting with shotguns, it was like, oh, bro. But yeah, on the whole, again, this container, I think it's blocking off the window on the top right. It's blocking off the doorway that's straight ahead as well in the bottom right-hand corner. And then obviously you got people swinging from the left. It kind of, for me, just kind of looks like it's just out of place per se. When I played, what was it I played? A hard point. One of the hard points was kind of in this area, but like you had to be in the container because the hard point only went round the edges very, very slightly. I genuinely feel, again, you could have some bales of hay here, you could have a couple of boxes or whatever, and I think it would make the flow of the map feel a hell of a lot better and be a lot more fun. But, you know, this is just suggestions. I'm not a I'm not a map designer. I'm just thinking from a gaming point of view, how it felt when I played this area. The two big containers, it's just like, what, dude? You know what? It would be honestly better if you pushed them two big containers against the wall, so that at least if somebody like ran and slid trying to oppose the doorway, they've got like a bit of a corner cover, rather than, because what happens is you got this whole area here, somebody can shoot directly in that lane on the left hand side. It might be a bit hard to make out, but you can actually like come out of there. There's like a doorway that comes out to the left. Also, if you're coming out in the front of the building, you can come to you would have to walk to your right, but then you would still see down this full lane. And then on top of that, that's why I obviously scoped on it, because I knew where people were coming from. Now you dive behind here, I've now lost all line of sight of that doorway. So I don't know if somebody's coming out, someone's jiggling, whatever. You've also got the guy at the top of the stairs, and as you can see, I think I probably get killed here, maybe. But you got the guy at the top of the stairs. Right, so you got the guy at the top of the stairs. There's always normally somebody there. Obviously, I got absolutely rinsed. But I was also conscious about the bottom doorway as well, because of like how many different points there is. And then the people that are inside the building only have that one small doorway they have to watch. And it made it hard to push. So what I think would benefit from maybe this area would maybe have like a garage door in there, like a big garage door instead, because at the end of the day there is a garage kind of sort of like a mechanical lift, there is a mechanics lift inside there with a car on. So, you know, why wouldn't that be a garage door? Or you could even make it like a big wide barn door, and then what you could do is move the containers to the very far left, and then just add some little bits out in that area where the tractor is. You could add a couple of like oil barrels or something, or you know, some broken cars, maybe, you know, car shells or something, just so that you've got that bit of cover, so that you can try and engage. And like, you know, you peek, right, nobody's there, then you go to move on, then you want to try and push in, because as it stands, you have to try and like break your arsehole to get round that corner. You can then try and just peek up the stairs, and then if there's nobody at the stairs, you can then think about swinging the door and looking left and right again to make sure nobody's run in while you've peeked the stairs. And it kind of feels like this is just one little tiny door, and if you're on the other side, all you do is just aim at the door, and because of the direction of the sun, you can actually watch shadows. So you know when people are approaching, because you see them, you see a shadow. So I just feel like, from a player's point of view, that is look there, look, all you have to do is watch that, and then shadows come, look, boom, and dead. Anyway, this again, I feel like this bit's all right. I like that again. The fact that the container's there and it's blocking everything. I don't mind a bit of blockage. Like, I don't mind some things being blocked from your line of sight, but to completely block the entirety of that whole area, if you're looking through them gates, it was painful to say the least. So look, like, I'm looking there, and all I'm really going to see from there is if a guy comes sliding out of that side door. They could be a guy running from the building, about to swing from the right-hand side of the container, peek me, and also there could be a guy swinging from like a closer point on the right-hand side of the blue fence. There could be a guy swinging around the back of the tractor to the left. There could be a guy swinging from the tractor to the right, and then I've got this door to my right, and all of this is just from this one point of view, and anywhere that anybody swings, they just look in one direction, and that's where the player's going to be stood again. From one side of the fence, it's like, oh, well, that's great, because, you know, I can just watch this little place and get people as they're running out. And then from the other side of the fence, it's like, you know, this person's just getting spawn trapped. But I didn't really feel like we did get spawn trapped per se, but you know what I'm saying? Like, better players, better competitive players. And again, this was when the time to kill was like ridiculously fast. You don't even get time to react. So as you can see, watch, look, he just slams me, so say boom. So I think having some barn doors or some better, like, you know, I don't know if the word is point of interest, but having more coverage in a sort of a more grounded way than just a big square container, I think would benefit from that map and make it feel a hell of a lot better as well. Guns-wise, guns felt really good. This is an example. This is the triple burst assault rifle, which was fairly good. I think having 74 levels on a weapon is a little bit harsh, but I think that in the last day of the beta, I was like, God, I'm leveling up weapons pretty quick here, and it was good, and I felt like it was like I was getting rewarded for my time, because this was a hard gun to level at first, in my opinion, anyway. And once I got them few levels on and I got a few better attachments, I was like, oh, this is actually a really nice gun. And one of the things I did like is the Apex. So the Fest Apex, there was actually 2 Apexes for this weapon in the beta. I did notice only one on other weapons that I leveled up. But in the beta, this one had an Apex. And what it done is it turned a triple burst, the triple burst gun into like a automatic slower firing assault rifle, which I thought was pretty sweet. And you'll probably see some footage of me using it. And yeah, it was pretty good. It hit hard. I enjoyed it. It was nice. The Hyon, I don't know if I'm saying that right, apologies. Hyper Burst, I did actually unlock that later on, and basically what it did was the fire rate was still automatic, but the first few bullets out of the gun was like rapid burst and then automatic slower firing. Again, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I was like, this is fantastic. I love this. So that was like a good thing about the guns, and obviously I leveled up the other guns. What was the guns that I leveled up? I leveled up the ISO Nightshade, I think it was called. I leveled that up. That was a nice gun. The M4, the what was that one? The Han 86 was it called? Sorry if I'm getting the names of the guns wrong, but I leveled all them up to max level. They were all pretty good. I quite like the Apexes on them. This was footage from after the TTK updates on the final day. Again, movement feels all right. I will say one thing I don't like about the movement was, as you can see, sliding forwards pretty good, and then the movement to the side feels all right. There's a bit of fluidity to it. Obviously, I need to work a little bit on my movement, but this will have to be hypothetical because unfortunately I didn't capture the footage. But in this scenario, sometimes I'd be in this scenario where I'd like slide around and shoot a guy or whatever, and sometimes a grenade would come over because they maybe flung a grenade. Now, obviously, human instinct would be to like sort of backpedal, dive out the way, like run away. And unfortunately, what would happen is, yeah, you'd have to like fully like 180 turn kind of to be able to run away quick enough with enough speed to try and not die to the grenade. Obviously, Flapjack can help, but what's it called? Flapjack and Flapjack can help. You know what I'm saying? Bomb Squad, I think it's called, and that helped. But being able to physically backpedal back through a door, like walk backwards through a door, was the slowest, clunkiest thing ever. And like I said, the movement is pretty good. But I think what's happened is because of Omni movement from BO6 and BO7, and I'll be honest, Omni movement is super smooth. It is super smooth. I think going to this has felt a little bit of a downgrade, to be honest. However, I don't feel like Omni movement should be 100% fully flung in. I just think if you do Omni movement, then keep it at a bit of a slow pace, but just make it feel, that little bit smoother. Make it feel a bit that you are an agile soldier, because obviously, you think about what you are. You are a highly trained, super fit, agile combat soldier. Yeah, you've been trained to, not me per se, but you've been trained as a character to obviously engage in like war activities and stuff like that. So you would think that they would have the agility to be able to like jump backwards through a door if like a grenade lands and like, oh no, dive backwards and get out the way. Obviously this guy here, try to get me again. The time to kill feels in a really good place, because obviously all this footage is after the time to kill, as you've seen there. I engaged in a fight, I got shot a few times. When the beta fest came out, you couldn't do that because you would get shot, and then when you shot, you're just dead. You didn't have time to react. So I think the time to kill is in a really good spot at the minute. You'll see in a minute. I get shot. I get to engage. If you quick on the movement, or your reaction time's good, you can get out of the way of stuff. So you'll see in a minute I start getting shot in the back big time. And I was like, oh shit, so I'd look behind the pillar, there he is there. I'd jiggle peek, I was still getting shot off God knows who. But as you've seen, I sort of like kept peeking and I got him, and yeah, you know, the time to kill on the last update of the beta felt really good. Right, so maps. So this is Rooftop. This map is by far, or was by far, the best map in the whole beta. I had countless fun on it. I can't even begin to explain fully how much this feels like a nostalgic, reminiscent sort of Call of Duty map. So as you can see here, you can climb up on the car, get up on like sort of one of the like mini roofs, and then you've got some great lines of sight. You can see on the left hand side, you can see all the way the line of sight there. You can see the line of sight on the window, and I don't know if I don't think I show this, but just on the right hand side of this pillar, you can see you can actually get a line of sight on the bottom door, and then also up here you get the line of sight on just on the right hand side. You get the line of sight on where they can stand near the staircase. You'll see it in a minute. But yeah, again, I love the layout of this map. I think it's pretty good. There's a lot of fluidity to it. Coming from this side of the map, though, I will say is pretty smooth because you've got the ramp to get up, but you've got a nice line of sight. You can even drop down to the left-hand side, which you'll see I do in a minute, to be able to see up onto the ramp. So if anybody's like trying to like camp it or head peek it, you've got that line of sight to be able to fire back. Again, you've got the doorway just down there below the window, and then just to the right where you can see like the B flag through the wall, there's also, that's where people come through on the door, and you can see them at the top of the stairs. Really, really nice, really good. On the right hand side, very similar as well, which we'll go through that in a bit. And also the amount of people that didn't even realise you could get up here. So you would get enemies literally just running and diving on air, and I'm like stood above them, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? So I got a lot of kills doing it. It was pretty cool. Obviously, the right hand side again, you've got a couple of different avenues you can go through. You can sort of run and jump over like the gap where you jump over like the roof gap, and then obviously you can get through where the ventilation is as well, and that'll take you into a doorway where you can come up into the stairs, and then you kind of come out where B is. So yeah, so that's pretty good. Again, like I said, he's the line of sight thing. Again, mountain on the wall, the amount of people that didn't realise I would be there and then just swing around the corner and start looking down and shooting was unbelievable. I think, do I kill somebody here? I don't know. Again, the bar's pretty good. Let me just go there. That doorway, perfectly positioned. I don't care what anybody says, it's perfectly positioned. I hate that door. I hate it with a passion because the amount of times I forgot about it and then I just got shot in the side of the head. But in my opinion, it is a very good countermeasure for people who are doing what I'm doing, which is basically camping and watching the lanes. So obviously, you know, you got your lane there that I'm aiming at. You got the lane to the right where my teammate is, and you've also got the lane where the scaffold is. So a lot of good lane watchage. Really liked it. Again, like I said, the door on the right, absolutely detested, but it's a very good addition to so that people have to be alert on what they're doing. However, one criticism I will get, I will say, I'll come to that in a minute actually. But this side as well, loads of lines of sight, nice open area. You've got the door just to your left here where all the dead bodies are, which I get caught out on. You got your line of sight there, just looking down straight to where people are going to run the corner. And you've also got the line of sight in the door there. I seen a guy, so I went for him. I didn't see the guy in the door, unfortunately. And obviously I went for that guy, and the guy in the door got me. And that's kind of fine. That's cool. That's good. However, on the opposite side, so where the C flag was, coming out of that area, you don't have anywhere near the lines of sight that you do on the other side coming from A. And I feel like it's a bit of an unfair map because, again, if you get spawn flipped into that area where C flag is, or if you spawn in that area where C flag is, you have to kind of like come across like all these different hurdles of all these like weird little head glitches and people being able to see the lines of sight or already stood behind a container, and you have to come out from behind a wall. And when you come out from behind a wall, there's a probability they've already seen you because it's limited to how many different ways you can come out. Where on A side, you can go up the ramp that I showed you. You can have people sitting on the top where I showed you. You can have people going through the doorways and then up into the building where I showed you. Then you've got the right-hand side where you come up another ramp, and then you've got a little box and stuff, which I showed you. But on the right-hand side, I didn't unfortunately get the footage, but on the right-hand side, you come up a ramp or you run through the botanical garden part and you go up some stairs, and that's it. That only seems to really be your routes of access. If people are like right on your toes at the bar, kind of like holding it down or camping, whatever you want to call it, and it kind of feels unfair a little bit. So a little bit of criticism on that map. But apart from that, that was the best map, I think, in the beta. Had a lot of fun. I will say I had a lot of fun on this one as well, which is the Korean village or the Japanese village. I'm not sure exactly where it was set. But again, this little like sort of area in the wall, you've got line of sight on here, which is pretty good, and you can sort of look down. It's a bit dirty, and you can look down in the street. Again, like you've just seen, that's an enemy, but he's got a blue dot, just like a friendly would. And as you can see there, red dot. So again, I hope that's addressed, because there was a lot of times when I didn't shoot because I thought it was like a teammate. It turned out it was just an enemy. So that was a bit. But again, I enjoyed. I think the lines of sight down the road are pretty good on this side. And again, this does feel a little bit like a one-sided map, kind of. You've got this area as well where you've got like the line of sight of the doorway, which is pretty good in the window. Also, slightly to the right, there's a nice line of sight as well if you want to see like onto the road a little bit. The reason I shot him, because I obviously look a bit stupid doing that, but the reason I shot him was genuinely because he just killed a teammate, and because I'd just seen the blue dot on the other guy, I was like, well, I have to shoot him, but just in case he's an enemy. Obviously, I got, like, you know, the thingy. So you've got a nice line of sight there, and there's obviously the top window and the doorway, and obviously it's kind of like hampered a bit by the Landwehr missile. All of this area is pretty nice, pretty good, but the thing I like, or the thing I think works well with the map, is it's kind of open as well. So there's all these different routes. Like an enemy could run around the corner there, they could go to the window, they could come through the doorway. So there's a lot to think about as a player. And obviously, from behind as well. I think I killed that guy. Again, this one, line of sights are pretty good. You know, the guys coming up have got a bit of a heady, but you can see straight. It's kind of like sort of just like right in your face. And then there's obviously the area on the left, which you'll see someone run round in a minute and nearly kills me. I like this, but I do think, again, this is a very one-sided map, right? So if you are on A side and you are coming round on the bottom part of the map, that's pretty good. If you're on C side and you're trying to come around the bottom part of the map, there's a lot of different places you can get shot from, and it kind of feels unfair, especially one of the buildings on the sort of the right-hand side of me has like a staircase, and it can just peek out onto like where people pretty much spawn. So again, that's like, a bit of a criticism on the map. But on the whole, pretty good. As you'll see in a minute, like I said, the whole bottom part of the map flowing from right to left is really nice. But the water side, not so much. Now, I don't know if it's just because of lack of like things in the water, maybe. I think maybe putting a floating island with like a couple of crates on that someone could like hold down would work really well. Or maybe like a couple of boats or something. People can have like a little bit of a dirty heady on. I don't think people genuinely knew you can go in the water as well. I don't know if they thought it was out of bounds or something. But the amount of times I would dive into the water and then flank round and get behind people was ridiculous. And for whatever reason, don't ask me why, no one ever bothered to check the water or look. So yeah. Again, a bit more one-sided where C is, because if you look at the flow of C, you've kind of got like that nice line of sight going at the top there, left to right, but then as you get to that corner, there's like block boxes that are restricting your line of sight. You've got people sitting in the building that can look out the window and look down at you. So while you're trying to look across, you can just get blasted from behind and not even know what was happening. And then obviously you've got the gate, you've got the people where B is, and that like little sort of alleyway looking over. And then obviously where my teammate is at the top, where the boxes is next to the water, you can get shot from that as well. And it's kind of like you don't really have this sort of like ability to be able to see everything at once, because of the fact that them boxes, which are just sort of next to the building above B, next to the water, it's like them boxes are just like you're walking round the corner from a box, if that makes sense, rather than being able to head peek over it and see like, oh yeah, there's somebody there. You walk around that corner and you've got like 99 different like angles to look at, and you're just getting blasted. So then what tends to happen is, as you can see by the red dots, everybody just kind of pushes through C and tries to use that bit, because like I said, that's the nice line of sight. So I think just making the maps a little bit more even on both sides and improving some of the lines of sight in like problematic areas would make the flow of the map feel a million times better, and probably make everything, feel a bit more smooth. Right, so next thing, score streaks. This score streak is absolutely fantastic. I love this score streak. I think whoever came up with the idea for this score streak, my hat goes off to your GGs. Because out of all the years I've played Call of Duty, getting a chopper gunner, getting, like a juggernaut suit or whatever, all of them are fun. But I can't explain what it is about this score streak. This score streak just feels so satisfying, and the amount of people that just get angry off it is wild. It is so good. And again, look, I've talked about the lines of sight. The lines of sight, like he's come from out behind a car. I can totally see his foot coming underneath. So then I can just obviously kind of pre-fire and catch him trying to get across. So again, a few little bits and bobs there I think wouldn't go amiss with maps. Now this map, Transit, holy god. Now I'm not gonna bash devs trying something new, and I know you're kind of going for what can we make into sort of the next Nuketown, because obviously Nuketown's been done to death, so we don't want to just be Nuketown. And what can we kind of make into the next sort of shipment or shipment style map, because we don't want to be just shipment. And I get it, but this map, and I hate to say this, feels just like a mess. It just feels there's no real proper feel and flow to it. It all feels like it's directed to just face C flag. It doesn't feel like it's to get A flag. It doesn't feel like it's to B flag. It feels like the entire map is just let's everybody face C flag, and if you spawn on C flag, you get the spawn trapped, and I'll show you a little bit why. So obviously you've got this sort of like S-bend thing, which is fine, and as you can see on the mini map, there's people going to spawn on that side, but you're going into such a narrow little hole against the wall. It's like you're swinging round and people just sit and just aim at it. And again, because the buses don't go to the floor, or vehicles don't go to the floor because of tyres, then they can sort of like just watch your feet coming from underneath it and know when to shoot. You can never really get round enough to shoot them enough. And then obviously in this sort of top corner part, which you'll see in a minute, you've got this sort of heady. Nobody can get out of like C, or no one can get the thing. I just put these down because of the fact that people would run around the corner and just get rinsed off them. So like I said about C, so first of all, you've got to look at that little heady, or that little angle there, just on the left hand side of the yellow bus. And that in itself isn't that bad. You can, because it's again a bit of line of sight, watching people. But then the minute you try to, you've got all of this space to the left hand side, the right hand side, where people could be potentially looking. People haven't got their hands on snipers yet, so that is just a sniper's paradise. And again, you kind of like, where have you got to move? You're literally boxed in. And then obviously, if you look on the mini map behind me, you've still got like all that big space behind you. But you can't climb up onto the roof to get over the top, So you've got this one doorway here to get out, and then that one skinny, narrow doorway to get out, which I'll show you a bit more of that in a minute. And then all you have to do is people just stand here, and they can head peek over that box. They could head peek at the side, and then the worst one of all, that bus there is literally just aiming directly into C. Like you're in C, there's a big wall stopping you from getting out of C, and yet you give the enemy or the opposing team an opportunity to just sit on the bus and just literally aim straight down and just rinse everyone. I mean, look at my entire team on the minimap. Look where they spawned, and then look at this window on the bus. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So for me, what I would do, if anything, I would take the two buses out, or instead of having them like long ways like that, have one bus sort of like going left to right, and then have the other bus behind it going left to right. And so that instead of it being face on, it's to the side. And I know you're going to say, well, isn't that just exactly the same thing? It is, but it isn't, because if people are going to use or jump on the buses or jump in the buses, the stairs like sort of will make them like lift them up, because what they're doing is they're standing at this window, and because there's a doorway to help them get on and off the bus, like right there, they can just step back into the stairwell, and then they're just like heading, and you'll see it in a minute. So I go to shoot him. Obviously, I'm trying not to get shot myself. And as you can see, look, he just gets to go down the little stairwell. So, and then obviously I've been shot from the middle. I think I was getting shot from the right-hand side of the red bus as well, where the smoke is, because there's a little heady there. It's like everything just looks at that one doorway, and it doesn't help the flow of the map. And it actually just feels like if you get this map, most people just instantly leave and search again. Or you come in this map, and if you're not the team that's starting to dominate, then they just give up and leave. So again, I know you're trying something new. I appreciate that. I'm sure the devs have worked on this really hard, but this map does not flow well. Maybe the position of the buses need to be a little bit better. Maybe you could, I don't know. Maybe you could I don't know. What could you do? I just feel like the whole flow of the map just doesn't work at all, and it's kind of like it's just a bit rough. But anyway, on to the next bit. This is just me dying slowly. Actually, helicopters on this map. There is no cover. There is zero cover whatsoever. Now, I know that the health of the helicopter was changed. The health of the helicopter was changed for sure. But the longevity of the helicopter and how long it stays out, how accurate it was, and the fact that there's no cover, I think was a very, very bad idea in this map. Again, I know you're trying something new. I don't understand why there couldn't have been like a couple of sheds that you could have like went inside to keep away from the helicopter if you don't have like cold-blooded. And again, no cold-blooded on the beta was brutal. Plus helicopter having like 50 million% health. I mean, when I played with the lads and my team, we literally had maybe 2 people, 3 people shooting at it with rocket launchers, and then 2 or 3 people shooting it with actual bullets, and that still didn't die. And then when it did die, it crashed into like the wall and killed the entire team. And like, dude, did you not get enough kills already? Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, this map here, like, so like I said, you've got that line there that can CC, right? And then, like I said, the stairwell that's right there, so people can just duck down it. And then you've got, when I turn here, I think I turn. Do I turn? No. And then again, so like I said, you've got C here, and you kind of trap behind the wall, and you trap behind these 2 doors. Again, I got slammed. This is when the time to kill was like super quick. So it is what it is. And then this here, you've got nowhere to go. You've got no way of outplaying anything or anyone. Like, I think this could do with like a box or 2, because when you come out of here, look, you come out of here, and then there's a box just on the right there, look, which you might not be able to see because of the dust. There's a box there, and then there's a box on the left, and then people just sitting heady them, and you coming out in the open, and there's literally like you're just in a straight like alley where it's like long enough that you can't backpedal and run away if you're getting shot, and there's nowhere to go. There's no left or right. You can't wall jump. You can't grab up onto the bus. Could do with a box or something, or maybe even like a bunch of tires. You could put a bunch of tires down in that alley, and that would probably work well, just to block any sort of like incoming bullets per se, and make it more of like a challenge alley rather than just I'm going to sit and heady this box, and I can see all the way down the alley, and I'm just going to shoot you as you run. So that's just a little tip on that. And I think I die here. I'm not bothered, but again, these buses, they just don't seem to work like or help the flow of the map. Spawns on this map as well are absolutely diabolical. Don't ask me why everything's in slow motion. I did do some slow motion stuff. I didn't realise I'd done this much slow motion stuff, but it was just to like sort of show so you can kind of see and I get a chance to talk about what's happening. Again, the fast time to kill was like pretty like outrageous on day one. This area is pretty good, but again, line of sights, and you got the line of sight sort of straight up there. Obviously, if you have a sniper and someone came around the corner, that's fine, you have it. But the fact that you've got people coming from the left, potentially, people coming from the right, which you've just seen my teammate doing, and then obviously straight ahead, that to me makes it kind of like pretty good and pretty open. But then it's the fact that you're boxed in again. There's not really like a little bit of cover here. I think taking maybe one or two of the buses away and then putting some sort of barrel cover, or putting some of the tyre racks in to make the lanes a little bit more of a, well, you have to like sort of push through and progress, I think would help the flow of the map a lot more than, because at the minute as well, you can literally just go spam grenade, spam flashbang, because there's no counter to flashbangs, and the spawns are so tight and together. It's just, yeah, it just does it. Just the map for me just felt just disjointed. It felt frustrating and not really something that I really want to do. Like, what really wanted to play. So, like I said, most of the time we got this map and everyone was like, ugh, and then we just backed out and searched again, unfortunately. But again, not taking that away from the devs. Sure, you have tried hard on that. Maybe just revisit it and think about where you could improve on the lanes. Like this, again, big massive containers, no need, especially two of them. I feel like if you want to do a container, maybe do a container with a window in, like a porter cabin. So you could have like maybe a window or two in on this side that we're facing now. You could leave that, but maybe pull it back a bit and put it a bit closer to where I'm coming from. And then you could have windows on the opposite side of it. You could have like an open door in the container, and then have a couple of windows on the inside of it. Get rid of the second container, so that when you're going across here, you've still got like a line of sight to the right. You could maybe shoot the guy up in the window, or maybe you see somebody coming through the bottom door, which is just sort of in the right-hand side corner of the map screen as we're looking. And then also there's another window straight up, and then you could maybe be able to peek up that window as well as peek forward to anybody coming around the corner from where the truck is in between the two houses. Just like little things like that. I think just little tiny tweaks on some of these maps would make the maps feel and flow a hell of a lot better. Again, I mentioned it earlier on, I think, about the car in the middle. It seems a little bit too long left and right. So if, for instance, there's somebody in this bottom corner and you come around that corner, you don't have the opportunity to just dive out the way and make the person really earn the kill. It's kind of just like you run and now you're just stuck against a big wall, and the only option is run up forward or run down. And if somebody sat to the right of me in the corner behind this doorway, just aiming up at that door, you walk around, you're just going to get shot. You're just a fish in a barrel. And again, people like to sit up the top of the stairs. People like to come round from the left-hand side where you can see like the skull. And then there's also the back where that sort of red blurry, I want to say maybe it's a shelf or something. There's a doorway there. And then you've got the doorway where obviously the guy's dead on the floor. And then all you've got when you're coming from this side is literally this one little square door. So for me, having like a big garage door in there, maybe. So if you come around the corner, you can kind of get a full view of what you're about to run into. And then that way it also keeps everybody on the toes who's trying to shoot you coming in, because they're like, oh, well, you can see me here, so you kind of head peeking or jiggling or whatever, corner peeking. And then the guy coming round isn't just running into like a slaughter bucket where it's like, this is it, just one square door. And then obviously if you look on the floor as well, you can see my shadow because of the position of the sun in the map. As I come around that corner, anybody stood at the top of them stairs doesn't even have to worry about when I'm coming, because they'll just see me coming anyways because of the shadow. So that's what I feel about this. And again, like I said, them entry points to the left, them entry points to the right, the guy at the top of the stairs, it all accumulates into a bad experience when trying to play the map. And again, this map on the whole, I would say 90% of it, or maybe 85% of it, feels really nice and really well done. It's just some little tweaks here and there I feel could do a little bit better. And I think you might see me actually get slammed in a minute on her. So again, the guy coming around the corner, although I know it's his teammate on the left-hand side, as far as I know because of the bug thing, because it's his teammate on the left-hand side, he doesn't have to worry about looking anywhere in this area other than that one doorway, which he obviously does, and he kills a teammate. And again, all one of my teammates, all that guy in the doorway has as an opportunity to counter this is the fact that he's in a doorway. That's it. Where if you take away that container, the guy running towards this door is going to have to think about looking over in that direction as well and checking that as a corner, because there could potentially be people there in the line of sight being able to see all the way up, if that makes sense. And again, you don't have to have it fully unobscured. You could maybe put, like I said, a couple of fuel barrels in, maybe a couple of bale hays, some carts with some hay in, whatever. But I think just a big blocky square container which just blocks everything out, I think would be re-looked at and done a little bit better, Again, this rando that I was watching, because he does actually swing around this corner and kill me. So I just kind of put that in because it was the only real footage I had of that container. So again, just little tweaks. Right, now onto the perks part. Now, for the majority of Call of Duty, you always have a perk system, and people are always going to dispute what's the best perks, why are the perks like this, can we have this one there and that one there. And I think you've got perk 1 line heavily wrong, but I'm not here to say, it doesn't work or, it makes the game feel crap. I just feel when it comes to picking perks, in perk slot 3, the only ones for me personally that I feel I would take or want to take is Scavenger, Cold-Blooded, maybe Battle Hardened, because it's like that's Tac Mask, right? So them three perks are the only ones I think I would ever pick out of the perk 3 slot. And I know there's probably going to be people who watch this video and go, oh no, but I would take Blood Rush and blah blah blah. I feel that if you are a run and gunner, which, you're thinking quick fix is like great, fantastic, quick fix, or maybe even chain killer, and then maybe fast hands or hard line, because you want that, you want the quick, you want to get your quick score streaks when you get your kills and your chaining, and then Blood Rush, right? So that's kind of like for the gunner and runner, and you could say, yeah, that's good. But then people might want High Alert as well as a gunner and runner. If you're going to be like a bit more of a Guardian style figure, and you want to try and hunker down and hold down a spot, if maybe you're playing the hard point or something, you're probably going to take Bomb Squad, and then you're going to probably take. I don't know why the music keeps stopping. You're going to take Bomb Squad. And then maybe take, I don't know, Battle Hardened so you're not getting flashed, and then maybe High Alert. But if you're taking that, then that's that, because of how your play style is, then that's kind of it for your packs, right? So I think it'd be better if you were able to maybe take away like overkill and high alert, maybe put that in slot 3, slot 3, maybe move combat grid into slot 2, and then maybe put resupply into slot 1. Just have a little bit of a feel and a jiggle about it with some of the packs, because I also feel like the fact that overkill, high alert, ninja, and ghost are all on pack slot 1, it's kind of diabolical. Like, what happens if you want to do overkill? Like, say you wanted to do overkill, but you wanted to do, maybe shotgun and SMG as a runner gunner, and then you're like, oh well, I'd like to take quick fix though, because when I get a kill, obviously I get that burst of health back. It's just for me, I think the perks really need to be revised per se. Even, do you know what? Even this is a wild idea. Add perk slot 4. You could add perk slot 4, and then put some of the perks in perk slot 4, and have it where after you get 2 kills, you get what you call a combat perk. So as long as you've got a couple of kills under your belt and you're still alive, this 4th perk will be active, and then but people get to pick what the 4th perk is, right? And then if you die, you sort of lose that 4th perk until you start getting your kills back again. So it's an incentive for runners and gunners. If you are, like I said, going to hold down the point, and you want to try and be this guardian and get the points for the team, then you might go for, say, I don't know, overkill, fast stands, and say battle hardened. But then when you get that combat pack, because you've killed 2 people, or you've got a set amount of points for holding down the objective, they might want to pick bomb squad as well, so people can't just throw grenades to get them out. Stuff like that. And I think that would give a whole new dynamic and a better feel to the perk system than just currently what it is, which is just pick one of the good perks at the top. You get like a mediocre perk in the middle that might help a little bit, but it's not as impactful as, say, Ghost and being able to be off UAV, or high alert, when people are looking at you. And then the bottom perk is like, well, I don't want to get shot to bits off a helicopter, so I'm just going to pick cold-blooded. That sort of thing. So I think being able to sort of mix and match, and maybe get like a special perk if you get a few kills, or and call me crazy, maybe make a 4th perk line, and you put some of the perks in the 4th perk line. Score streaks for the most part are pretty good. I personally think, and this might be a hot take, I personally think UAV should be 6 kills. I think if you're able to know where every enemy is on the map, because of obviously UAV, then it should be 6 kills. And I would actually put counter UAV as the 4 kills. So if there is somebody who's like rinsing the lobby, or there's a really good player in the lobby who's getting these kills and he's just going UAV, 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 at least the counter is like at a shorter range. So I think for me, UAV and counter UAV should be swapped. I think crossfire should be above the or crossfire should be in the same category as, say, railgun and missile silo. Again, the hot takes, but I feel like, for as fun as it is, and the fact that you get 2 passes, and I'll be honest, I didn't capture the footage, and I'm gutted. I think I got like 11 kills out of the crossfire, because I went down and I think I killed like the full team spawning, and then as I killed them, then like literally one guy popped up again, and I got him, and I think I got like 6 or 7 kills on one pass. And then when it came down again, they were all spawning in again, and I obviously got a few more, and I think I got like 11 kills out of it. So I think, as fun as it is, and that's not always the case that you get 11 kills, but it's fun. I think the damage it does and the amount of kills you can get, I really do think that there needs to be maybe slotted up like a little bit, or even add like, you got 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I mean, yeah, you can't just randomly go, well, this one's 7, this one's 9. I think I think if you, I think if you've done a little bit of jiggling with some of the score streaks and prices, like the amount of kills you need, I think that would make them feel a lot more rounded as well. By the way, combat drone is ridiculously good. You could only get out of a care package. I don't know if it was intended, because I always thought the lockpicks you couldn't get out of a care package, but apparently you can get combat drone and missile salvo. So for me, like I said, the score streaks and the things you get, pretty nice, pretty fun, a lot of them. But obviously, just to balance them out a little bit more. But apart from that, I think the game's in a good state. Or again, I'm talking about sort of where the end of the beta was, and it's a shame that it was the end of the beta. I would have liked to see maybe the beta continue all week, so we could just constantly give feedback, constructive feedback, and help improve the game. Because obviously, I don't really want to see the COD game fail. I obviously want a brand new COD to play, which is fun and enjoyable, and I'm like, yeah, this is fucking kick-ass. But then I also, don't want this sort of like, well, this is the vision, this is what we're doing, so, to sort of lump it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to weekend 2 of the beta. Hopefully we see some good improvements. I'm sure we will. Again, this isn't a hate video. This is just some genuine feedback from a genuine gamer who enjoys the Call of Duty franchise, who has played it since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the original. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what the future holds for MW4. I think obviously on the whole, the time to kill sort of killed off the vibe of the beta at the beginning. But for anybody who stuck around, hopefully there'll be some people comment on this video. They'll agree that towards the end of the beta, the time to kill was in a better place. The game started being a bit more fun and enjoyable. And again, looking forward to what weekend 2 brings. All the Infinity devs, keep up the good work. I know you're working hard and you're trying to make the best you can of the game. And you're trying to do your best with the game as well. And yeah, for anybody who watches this video, please leave comments in the descriptions of changes you would like to see. Obviously, I know everyone's just going to spam time to kill, improve that, improve. Just genuine feedback, because you never know, a dev might watch this and then they might look in the comments just to see what other people are saying, if they're agreeing or not. So just a little line of like, I wish maybe, I don't know, the helicopters were a bit more expensive because the attack chopper seems a little bit OP or whatever. Just like little things like that, because then the more feedback we can give them, the more they can like round the game, like make the game a bit more well-rounded. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully it hasn't been too long. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And until next time, this is Warhawk out. See you later, guys. I'll catch you all for the next one.